Okay, my clock on my computer says it's 7 o'clock, and I want to thank those of you um, who logged on, even though I sent out an email because I was expecting some technical challenges, but I'm really glad that we're all here tonight. Um, Let me just begin. I have some things that I'm kind of anxious to share, in a good way, anxious. I finally have completed my land acknowledgement that feels very personal and right to me. And hopefully you can share some things about it too. And, anything that doesn't fit for you, change it so that it does in your mind as you're listening. So my land acknowledgement goes like this. I work at the Tumsey Family Health Team here in Chatham, Ontario, which is currently home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, that is situated in the traditional territory of the Potawatomi, the Ojibwa, and the Anishinaabe, the Lenape nations, as protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Chatham-Kent neighbors the Lenape at Delaware Nation, which is part of the McKee Purchase Treaty, as well as the unceded territory of the Bakajwam Walpole Island First Nation. Chatham-Kent continues to be home to diverse First Nation and Métis people. My goal as an individual is to acknowledge the Indigenous people who have lived on and cared for this land from time immemorial, to express my gratitude to them, but also to acknowledge the traumatic impact of colonization from my ancestors. As a settler with ancestral ties to continental Europe, when my grandparents came to these lands more than 100 years ago, their survival was not dependent on the support of the Indigenous people. The land where they settled had been changed and scarred by agriculture and industry. What should never be forgotten, however, is that those European settlers who came hundreds of years before my ancestors did would never have survived without the support, generosity, and care of the Indigenous people they encountered, people who had lived on these lands for thousands of years before. In an attempt to live respectfully together, many treaties and agreements were signed between First Nations people and those settlers who came to colonize the land and people. Agreements were made and signed, but never honored respectfully. Land ownership was a foreign concept for the Indigenous people to comprehend. How can someone own the land and the sky above? What does it mean to own? First Nations beliefs about the natural world were thought to be simple-minded by the colonizers. Indigenous people wisely subscribed to the views that a person should share the bounty of the land and take only what is needed, not to deplete or harm what is natural, always leaving enough for the people who will come after. This is the meaning of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. The wisdom and generosity of the First Nation has never been honored by those who colonize. This arrogance truly harmed and did much damage, as many Indigenous nations were completely decimated by diseases and the colonization brought to the land. Today, we struggle how to acknowledge this truth, this pain, and the damage of our righteous, arrogant sense of entitlement and colonial history that caused so much suffering. Being able to give thanks to the stewards of the land who came before me, and being able to reflect upon the meaning behind the Dish with One Spoon is an honor. That is something I think about every time I am nourished physically and emotionally by the bounty of our natural world. It's important for me to offer gratitude, thanks, and to the wisdom of those who came before me and cared for and respected everything in our natural world. I also commit to filling the dish with one spoon, learning more and more about Indigenous communities and sharing these learnings with the people in my life. In the spirit of reconciliation, let's do all that we can to acknowledge the reality of our shared and checkered history, to embrace and support the recommendations in the Truth and Reconciliation Report. In doing so, we work to build an environment of trust and respect to make this land a welcoming and healthy home for all people. As a visitor on this land, I strive to deepen my own understanding of local First Nation communities. I commit to reframing my responsibilities to the land and our community. I offer my respect for this land that I am on today and for the people who came first, as well as the people who have come to reside here since. As beneficiaries of the treaty and the generosity and care of the Indigenous or First Nations people, we must never forget but learn from our mistaken beliefs. Today, let's agree to the mutual sharing of the obligations, responsibilities, and the privilege to be stewards of the land, the water, and the air. We must hold all that is in this natural world in our highest esteem and give honorment to the wonderment of all things in creation. So I realize now it's a bit lengthy, but it was so important to say so much. So thank you for your indulgence. I'll probably try to keep revising that as we go. I have two poems here. This one I'll read first, which is called Keep It Simple, again by one of my favorite poets, Donna Ashworth, in her book, I Wish I Knew. So here we go. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, your life. You can only do so much. And the simple things are there to fuel your heart when the waves of overwhelm start to crash against your wall. Keep it simple. You can only do so much. It's the simple every day that will help you on your way. Look around. Take in the moment. Be at ease. When the winds of worry roar against the castle you have built, take a rest, feel your heartbeat, and be at peace. Keep it simple, your life. You can only do so much, and the little things are there to bring you joy when the hounds of dark and dread begin to howl inside your mind. Keep it simple. You can only do so much. Lovely message for times that are rather challenging. And this poem is called Dear March, Come In, and it's by Emily Dickinson. And she wrote back in the 1800s. It goes like this, and I thought of it because this is our last Tuesday in the month of March. Dear March, come in. How glad I am. I hoped for you before. Put down your hat. You must have walked. How out of breath you are. Dear March, how are you? And the rest. Did you leave nature well? Oh, March, come right upstairs with me. I have so much to tell. I got your letter and the birds. The maples never knew that you were coming. I declare, how red their faces grew. But March, forgive me, and all those hills you left for me to hew. There was no purple suitable. You took it all with you. Who knocks? That April. Lock the door. I will not be pursued. He stayed away a year to call when I am occupied. But trifles look so trivial as soon as you have come. That blame is just as dear as praise, and praise as near as blame. Complicated feelings about the seasons in March and spring. So I mentioned to you tonight that I wanted to give you guys a lovely experience for your mind and your body. And I just thought I would share with you some of the benefits of nature. It's a wonderful, simple way to de-stress. And those of you who've been around enough know that a couple of times last year we offered walks in nature that are meditative and soothing. And we're probably going to do some of that stuff again in lieu of Tuesday night meditation. But just so you have an idea, you know, what we're talking about, but many find themselves struggling with cold, gray days, with shorter daylight hours in the winter. And we're just fortunately coming out of that now. But even within this gloomier setting, there's an easy way to boost your mood, according to Holly Ann Passmore. When people notice nature, and not necessarily even just to spend extra time in it, but just to notice. And so it's really that simple. You don't have to go for a walk, but if you can just step outside and notice a bird song, or notice how, oh my goodness, the buds on the trees are just about ready to pop. Anything like that, the honking of the geese as they fly overhead, anything that's natural. can really, really boost and enhance our positive emotions. Why? Because it's greater than us. So she was speaking to a CBC radio host named Matt Galloway, and Holly Ann Passmore is an associate professor of psychology at Concordia University in Edmonton, who likes to study the correlation between nature and people's well-being. And she says that if you simply take a moment to notice every bit of nature around you, whether it's a tree as you're standing at a bus stop in a city, or a bird in the backyard, or even plants on your desk or inside your home, you can feel a spark of joy, of connectedness, and hope and gratitude. And she launched a study back in January of about 150 students at her university to see how paying attention to nature in the winter affects their mood. And she noticed that she's hoping that the results will be similar to a study that she did back in 2022. This is for reliability and validity. In that previous study, Passmore split about 60 participants into 3 groups. One group was asked to look at nature, another at human-built structures, and a control group that was, could look at anything they wanted, but was not supposed to look at anything natural. For 2 weeks, first 2 groups were asked to go about their usual routines, but to pay attention to what they saw during the day. Then, on a daily basis, they received an email prompting them to log what they noticed and upload a photo and describe how what they saw made them feel. Participants who looked at nature reported feeling more satisfaction with life, more hope, and more connectedness with nature. They recorded observations such as finding hope in a bare tree that will eventually regrow its leaves, serving as a reminder that tough times will come to an end. And another participant found joy in seeing bunny prints in the snow. Participants in researcher Holly Ann Passmore's study, who were asked to observe nature, submitted photos of the natural scenery and the objects that they saw. Passmore wants her findings to help people see the beauty in the world and know that it's easy and accessible. It's an easy and accessible way to improve your well-being. Then there's a gentleman named David Segal, who's an executive director of the Human Nature Counseling Society in Victoria, BC. He says he's not surprised by the Passmore's findings. He works in a nature-based therapy counseling agency, and that is they work with people in natural environments. They walk with people in natural environments. They do a lot of group exercises and counseling in natural environments. And he says it's positive to expose yourself to things that are natural because focusing on things that are beneficial do us good. Nature is a tonic for our nervous system that supports people for their best selves to show up. Noticing nature is an example of a glimmer. And a glimmer is something that we've all experienced, and you know it when you feel it. It sort of is a message that's sent from your vagus nerve. Remember, we talked about the vagus nerve, that large and long system of nerves that's connected from the top of your head all the way down to the base of your spine. And it's the one that if you're seeing something amazing and beautiful, your heart feels like it's so overwhelmed and excited it could burst, or it also equally can feel so disappointed and it can drop and you feel almost like your heart is breaking. Same thing with your stomach. That's all your vagus nerve. And glimmers are the things that, ooh, isn't that interesting, that give us a little hit of curiosity and excitement, and that lifts spirits. And he says that glimmers are, which can be considered small everyday moments that bring calmness to our mind and body, curiosity and interest. They're the opposite of triggers. We all know what triggers are. So glimmers are the opposite of triggers, which can produce negative emotions and stress. Segal says that our brains are programmed to look for potential threats as a survival instinct. We know this. And this means that we're all naturally more likely to focus on the negative than the positive. But we can drive out of those deep ruts and focus on things that are more positive and notice those glimmers, those magical moments that can lift our spirits. So any chance you have to reduce your stress levels and calm your nervous system is wonderful. and nature is the perfect place to experience glimmers. There's so much that we're wired to find beautiful, and we are. We just need to take a moment and really acknowledge that. Noticing the glimmers in your life creates a compounding positive effect. It's a little like doing a gratitude practice in a way. When a person's stress level is reduced, they enter a better state of mind overall. And in turn, this helps people gain a better perspective, making the problems that they're experiencing feel even more manageable. So then there's a little bit of information from a woman named Heather Hendry, and she's the founder of an agency called True Nature Wilderness Therapy, which is in Squamish, British Columbia. And she adds that nature grows and decays and changes, and this really reflects the ebb and the flow of our own lives. It can also teach us how to navigate those experiences. When working with clients, she sometimes takes them to areas that have been affected by clear cutting. I don't know if you know what that is, but that's when they raise whole swaths of trees and it's just, there's nothing left but stumps. And that's then the next year they send in the tree planters to grow again. And it doesn't really take all that long, but that's what clear cutting is. And it's really sometimes upsetting to see it from an aerial perspective. But she explores this as a metaphor for how we all have our own journeys of regrowth. And she's sort of in agreement with Passmore's research, which validates the fact that all of this work that nature counselors are doing and all the time that we spend in the natural world through our own direct experience, it just does help us to feel better. For some people, she says, having concrete evidence that activities like eating lunch on a park bench and noticing how a wild flower can lower stress levels gives them justifications to try it. So if you haven't tried it, I'm going to encourage you to go out and try it. And her study is going to conclude, it looks like it's concluded about last week sometime, and she'll be giving us updates on her research and the findings. And again, she invites you to, find something in your everyday life that you can do to bring that benefit to yourself. And we're going to do that now. Excuse me. And before we begin, I'd like to invite you to sit for a moment in some silence. We'll probably take about 3 minutes of clock time to do that. And I invite you to notice your breath, however you do that. And gently also, of course, notice that your mind is likely going to wander. And when it does, simply come back to your awareness of your breath. So simple, but so grounding. And 1 more minute of breathing, silence. You have it nicely done. Before we continue, I'd just like to invite you to take in one last gentle but perhaps deeper cleansing breath in through your nose. And a lovely slow exhale, perhaps with sound out your mouth, just like that. And my, that felt so good. I feel kind of compelled to do another one. So, and out, just like that. So I have a bit of a dilemma because there's two things that we're going to do. We're going to experience something natural, and it will be vague enough. But I also know that I asked you to pick three positive qualities that you kind of like to have internalized within you. And I'm trying to decide what way I want to do this first, because there's, there's several different ways to do that. I think what I'd like to do, I don't know why, and you guys can give me feedback if this works, or if you think it would work better another way, you can let me know. But I think we're going to take our walk in nature first. And, at some point you will use those three key qualities, but just not yet. This one is going to be about really experiencing in your mind's eye the walking in a natural environment. And so, sometimes when you use the instruction, use your imagination, that kind of unnerves people a bit. You can do this with your eyes open or closed, and you can imagine any forest. It can be a rainforest, it can be a tropical forest, or it could be a grassland forest, whatever, however you'd like to do that. But I'd like you to bring it to mind just now and imagine that you're walking along a path that is deep in this natural place. And all around you, perhaps there are tall trees, or there are grasses that are growing, or there are, palm trees, whatever it is. In my mind, I'm going to imagine that it's a wood forest, and that there are pine and fir and oak and beech, a Carolinian forest that's local. Whatever it is, and if you don't like those suggestions, you just simply tune my suggestions out and bring up in a very vivid way your own images of where you'd like to be walking in this moment. I encourage you to try to see them vividly. I'm going to ask you to employ your senses in a minute, but for now, just trying to get an image in your mind, and maybe even remembering a time where you were walking in such a place and how it felt. And you might even feel like taking a deeper breath in and perhaps noticing sounds around you. Maybe there's a wind that's blowing through the treetops that you're able to notice with your hearing sense. And you can find it so soothing. And it allows you to let go of whatever expectations you might have for yourself in this moment or any other time. I invite you to use your smell sense and notice the rich dampness of the forest floor, or whatever other smell that you're able to notice about this natural place. Could be the smell of earth and new seedlings, or of rotting leaves, or of, sand mixture with salt water or fresh water. Just take a moment and notice in your mind's eye whatever you can notice about this place that you're walking right now. And now look up through the treetops until you can see a light blue sky. Notice how high the sun is in the sky. And as the sun enters the canopy of the treetops, It breaks into rays which waft their way down through the trees to the forest floor. You're watching the intricate patterns of light and shadow created as the light filters down through the trees, very lace-like, gentle. The forest might feel like a great primeval cathedral or building, your sacred place, filling you with a sense of peace and reverence for all living things. And off in the distance, you can hear the sound of rushing water echoing through this natural place. It gets louder as you approach. And before long, you realize that you're at the edge of a stream. And you're looking at this stream and you're noticing how clear and sparkling the water is. Imagine allowing yourself to sit down, making yourself very, very comfortable. You might sit down on a flat rock up against a tree, or you might even decide to lay down on a grassy slope. You can see this stream creating little ripples and little rapids as it moves, rushing around a variety of large and small rocks that are many different colors. These rocks are many shades of brown, gray, white, red, black. Some are covered with moss or something green. You can see this sparkling water rushing over some of these rocks and around others, making little tiny whirlpools and eddies that are so interesting to watch. The sound of this water is so peaceful that you can just let yourself drift, relaxing more and more with the soothing sounds of this gentle stream. You take in a deep breath of fresh air, breathing in and breathing out, finding the subtle smells of this natural place very, very refreshing and soothing. And as you let yourself, your body sink into the soft bed of grass or leaves or fragrant pine needles that are beneath you, you can let go of any strains or concerns of the present moment. And allowing all of these beautiful sights and all of these soothing sounds and all of these tantalizing smells of this beautiful natural area to fill you with a deep sense of peace, wonderment, goodness. Breathing in the goodness, the naturalness of this place, using all of your senses, feeling all of that goodness, allowing it to become part of you in just this way. In just this way. And you don't have to adjust or do anything unless your body is telling you that it's time to make some movements. But I'd like you to sort of keep that natural place uppermost in your mind while simultaneously bringing to mind the 3 positive qualities that I'd like to help you take in that will then resonate with you in this interesting thing that we're going to do next. So, bringing to mind the three qualities, and they can be anything that you believe is going to serve you, something that's positive. It might be something like peace, or calm, or strength, or acceptance, or what else comes to mind? For me, it's always those three: peace, acceptance, strength, fortitude, confidence, whatever it is, bringing to mind those three qualities. Three qualities that resonate with you. And it's interesting because I'd like to invite you to notice something, that when you repeat these three qualities to yourself, combining it with your experience that you just had, the visualization experience that you had in the natural world, allow yourself to, and it doesn't matter what the symbol is, can be something, from nature, it can be a symbol of something, it can be a letter or a design, it could be a bird, it can be a leaf, or it can be a spider's web, it can be anything at all. But I'd like you to bring to mind the three qualities and then combine it with your experience and your appreciation of something from the natural world. So it doesn't matter what it is, there is no wrong answer here. Just as long as it's something from nature that somehow represents the three positive qualities that you'd like to bring into yourself. So give you some time to do that. I hope that you all have a symbol right now you can let represent the positive qualities. Something from nature, might be a plant, an animal, an insect, or something else. Could be a leaf or a twig or a stick or a rock. Anything that's natural that you can use as a symbol to represent the three positive qualities. So I'm going to move on, but now that you've not only identified your desired qualities, but you've taken a moment to find a symbol that can represent them. Now I'm going to ask you to do something else that's kind of interesting and curious. And I'm going to ask you to imagine what it would feel like to truly embody those qualities, and perhaps the qualities of the symbol that you've chosen. Picture yourself feeling the first quality that you identify. Letting this quality settle deeply into your experience of yourself and the natural world and the symbol. And as you do this, allow your mind to just be the symbol and feel the symbol that most represents this way of being. So we're going to do that 2 more times with the other qualities that you've selected. So again, imagine what it would be like to truly embody that second quality Taking a breath in, and letting that feeling really come into your mind and your body. Letting it feel and settle really deeply inside you. Linking it to that natural symbol. Seeing the symbol and linking it to the second quality as well as the first quality. Letting that natural symbol represent those two positive qualities that are resonating with you in this moment. And you take another breath in. And as we exhale, bring up now the third positive quality that you'd like to bring into yourself. No matter what it is, imagine it. Imagine it coming into your body, strengthening you, nourishing you, emboldening you. Whatever it is, might be soothing you, might be reassuring you, might be strengthening you, whatever it is, linking it to that symbol and linking all three qualities now, repeating those qualities in your mind, whatever they are, repeating them once and twice. Three times, seeing the symbol, touching into the symbol, letting the symbol be inside you. And now I'm going to invite you to, in your mind's eye, describe the symbol in a sensory way. So using our visual sense, what does the symbol look like? Really seeing it in your mind's eye. Does it have a color? Texture? Does it move? What does it look like? Really seeing it in your mind's eye. Next, we're going to use our auditory sense. Does your natural symbol make a sound or a song? Or is there a word or a phrase that can go along with this symbol? In your mind's eye, hear sounds associated with the symbol, or hear the word spoken that's associated with your symbol. Whatever it is. And now, using your kinesthetic sense, if you were to touch this symbol, what can you notice? How does it feel? Is there a texture? Is it soft or hard, or is it feathery, or is it watery, or how does it feel when you touch it? Is there a movement or a posture that goes with it? In your mind's eye, touch and feel these things, whether it's movement or texture, rough or smooth, whatever it is, using your kinesthetic sense to imagine feeling this symbol. And you can even have multiple symbols if that's what's coming into your mind. That's not a problem. I invite you now to reflect on this symbol and the 3 qualities that it embodies. And as you bring your awareness to your symbol, take a deep breath in, holding the breath in as you hold for a moment the essence of the symbol, and then exhale, letting go of anything you no longer need in this moment, allowing it to be replaced with the symbol and the positive qualities that go along with it. And let's do that again. Breathing in, imagining your symbol, filling your lungs with air, and imagine this symbol along with the breath is traveling down into your belly, allowing yourself to feel the essence infusing into your body, the essence of the symbol infusing into your body. Breathing in again, holding for a moment, allowing the essence to be infused. And as you exhale, allow yourself to settle even more deeply into this experience of your symbol and the positive qualities. And one more time, inhaling the qualities, the symbol, maybe this time imagining the qualities of your symbol flowing into your bloodstream, circulating throughout your entire system. You can even allow your eyes to soften as you gently inhale and exhale, settling more and more into the feeling of being the symbol with all of its qualities. And each and every time you inhale, you will continue to breathe in these qualities, repeating the 3 qualities again. Quality number 1, quality number 2, quality number 3. And again, imagine now what it would feel like to be your symbol, as if you could step inside it or allow it to become part of you, to merge with you. Notice how that symbol feels and how it holds itself inside you, how it interacts with the world on your behalf. What is it showing you? What is it showing you? What feelings are coming up inside you in relation to this symbol? What can you learn from it? And I'd like to give you about 60 seconds of clock time for you to reflect and allow all of this to percolate inside of you. Again, noticing all the sensations in your body that you feel as you allow the symbol to be part of you allowing yourself to be part of the symbol, reminding yourself what it has to show you and how it feels to be one with the symbol. And all of this might be kind of different and difficult to understand in this moment. But I invite you to hold on to the symbol, to make it vivid, to describe it to yourself. Perhaps when you finish this meditation, write it down or draw it. In this way, allowing yourself to embody the same energy of the symbol. I don't know when you'll experience this or how you experience this, but I guarantee you there will be an energy that you'll associate with this symbol and all the work that you did here tonight with it. And from now on, whenever you want to reconnect with these feelings and these qualities, all you have to do is bring to mind your symbol and take 3 deep breaths in. And each time you do this, each time you link the qualities and the symbol to yourself, each time you do that, it will become easier and more natural for you to really feel those qualities and allow them to resonate, allow yourself to embody those qualities. Once again, repeating those qualities to yourself right now. Quality number 1. Quality number 2. Quality number 3. Breathing in and out. Really sensing and allowing those qualities and that symbol to anchor within you. Allowing them to anchor within you. Knowing that you've had this experience, knowing that that symbol is always here and always with you, ready to support you whenever you need it. Breathing in and out. And when you're ready, you can gently begin to return to this present moment, perhaps feeling the supportive surface beneath your sit bones, or if you're lying down, whatever you're able to notice about this present moment. Taking in some deeper cleansing breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. In and out, perhaps adjusting your posture. We have about 10 minutes left of our meditation, and I like to use that time wisely as we bring positive and kind intentions to ourselves and the world. And, as I sometimes will do, very important that you allow yourself to bring to mind some positive intention that might be more personal for you. So just taking a moment to kind of adjust your posture, get comfortable again. And we'll begin with loving kindness meditation. And those of you, and I think just about everybody here has done one of these with me before. But if you haven't, I think I see one person who's maybe not. And it's very simple. Excuse me. We're going to speak about some loving, kind intentions that we will offer to first to ourselves and then to the world. And we repeat them 3 times because, as we believe, there's power in the number 3. So I believe that. And then we exhale, and when we exhale, we imagine sending those qualities out of our bodies on the power of our breath into our communities and into the world. And I usually start with a pretty simple explanation of the loving, kind intention. Sometimes there's a little more of an elaboration on it, just so that we're all on the same page. But the first loving, kind intention that I'd like to go with tonight is, may all beings everywhere feel freedom and acceptance. So we'll just go with that one again. May all beings everywhere feel freedom and acceptance. And what we really mean by this is that we can have the freedom to be ourselves, to be loving and kind in the face of adversity. May all beings everywhere, including myself, feel freedom and acceptance. Taking in a nice deep breath in through our nose, filling our chest and lungs. And as we powerfully exhale, imagine that loving, kind intention passing outside of the rooms that we're sitting in, into our communities, further and further, into our world and beyond. And the next loving, kind intention that I'd like to offer tonight goes like this. May all beings everywhere, including myself, be free from pain and suffering. May all beings everywhere, including myself, be free from pain and suffering. And what we mean by that is that being human, pain and suffering are very much part of life. And sometimes people hurt us knowingly or unknowingly. And this truly happens. And what we do with that painful thing, the suffering that creates, can be a choice. And one of the things that we can do is to forgive. And that's a choice. It really is. And sometime we'll talk more about forgiveness. But in this moment, we wish that may all beings, including myself, be free from pain and suffering. So we breathe in very deeply. And as we exhale, imagine that loving, kind intention travels outside of our bodies on the power of our breath, inside of the rooms that we're sitting in, into our communities, into our country, into countries that are nearby and far, into the world. And now it's time for you to bring to mind a very personal, loving, kind intention. It can be anything that you want, anything that you hope for the world, for yourself. Just give some thought to what that loving, kind intention will be for you tonight. Give you some time to think about that. Hopefully you have one by now. And now, of course, you repeat it 3 times by saying, may all beings everywhere, including myself, and then repeat the loving, kind intention once, and twice. May all beings everywhere, including myself, and one more time. May all beings everywhere, including myself, and we breathe in very deeply. And as we exhale, we imagine that that personal, loving, kind intention travels out of your body on the power of your breath into the room that you're sitting in, into your home, and onto your street, and into your community, into your county, into your province, into your country, into the continent of North America, into the world, and beyond. And the last loving kindness that I think would be lovely and gentle to end on is this. May all beings everywhere, including myself, be peaceful. May all beings everywhere, including myself, be peaceful. And what I like to think that that means is, may we be patient, may we be kind, may we be generous, may we be calm and calming. May all beings everywhere, including myself, be peaceful. We breathe in deeply, lovingly, kindly, and as we exhale, we imagine the power of those loving, kind, intentional words being carried from the strength of our breath outside of our bodies, outside of the rooms we're sitting in, outside of our homes, into our communities, into our towns, our villages, our cities, into our province, into our country, into the continent of North America, into the world. Breathing in and out. And on that note, we'll end our meditation practice there tonight. And it was nice to hang out with you and share this experience with you. And I'm just going to wish you all well. I like to look at the faces that I see and the names that I see. May you all be peaceful and have a good night. Take good care. We'll see you next week.